What's going on Facebook? We are live for Facebook Live Friday. I'm Phil Gertis with Long and Foster Real Estate, Christie's International. I am, just so you know, recording over here too. So what's happening here is I'm talking to one set of folks here and I'm talking to one set of folks here, because what's happening here is for Facebook and what's happening here is going to be for Instagram and probably some other stuff. But this is Facebook Live Friday. What you want to do right now is you want to make sure hey, Kyle Parks, welcome to the party. Uh-oh, hold on. There you go, I'm back. Someone just called me and jumped into my call session here, our Facebook Live. But anyway, Andreas, how are you, sir? I believe you're in Germany, right? Carlos Fanning, welcome to the party, So guys, this is all about how to list your home for the best price. Today on Facebook Live Friday, how to list your home for the best price. I want to just take note when I come over here, you notice there's a little halo behind me. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh my goodness gracious, look at him just shining off the bulb. Yes, but here's the thing, when I do that, I come out of the picture over here. So let's dive in. Kevin Brown's on. Let's dive in here, guys, and talk about how to list your house for the best price, because this is an important part of selling your home. You guys have heard me say before in the past that selling your home is about two things. First thing, pricing. Second thing, marketing. So let's cover this. Maybe next week we'll talk a little bit about some key marketing strategies that you can do or you can make sure your agent does when they are listing your home for sale. But right now, let's talk about the numbers, the price. So before you think about how to price your house, or where to price your house, or what number you should go for. Somebody just threw a like in there. I saw a thumbs up. Oh my goodness, thank you. We'll take those. So before you think about that, we need to understand the market. Let's understand what the market's doing and how what it's doing. Hey, Mark Weber, thanks for joining us. Let's understand what the market's doing and how what the market's doing affects what we do and our choices and our decisions on where we are going to list our house for. Kyle Parks. There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the likes and the love and the hearts and all that stuff. So the latest home price index from CoreLogic. Now listen, I've got notes here. I've got a camera here, and I've got a camera here. So I'm going to bounce around here a bunch of times and stay with me. So like I was saying, the latest home price index from CoreLogic says that home prices increased by 4.7% over the course of 2018. 4.7% over the course of 2018. That's a good bump. I mean, that's a substantial bump in your home's value, assuming you didn't do anything crazy like destroy your roof or something like that. But the average home in the United States saw a 4.7% increase. Here's what's important. Al Ayala, how are you, man? Long time. So here's what's important for us to understand, that those numbers fluctuate depending, obviously, where you sit in the United States. Some places like Kansas, well, it was 5.6% increases. If you were in California, lucky you saw a 9% increase in property values. In places like Virginia or DC or Maryland, where I live, Virginia saw 5.1%. DC, you folks saw a 4.3% increase, and us here in Maryland saw a 4.6% increase. It looks like on the East Coast, the highest increase was in Florida. Last year in Florida, there was a huge bounce back last year from the crash. They just started seeing a real significant bounce back. They saw a 6.8% increase in home values. Now, here's something that I think is super important. Wherever you are in the country, you see these value increases last year, and you're thinking to yourself, I think it's time for me to sell. In fact, I have a client right now who has said to me, the reason we are getting our home ready to sell is because we feel like it's the best market today for us to sell. So listen, they're probably right. This is a really, really strong market to sell in. But don't just go off of what happened last year. The same report, the same CoreLogic report, right? The home price index said, and I'm reading here, that while every state in the union is different, the average sat at about 2% increase. So here's what that means. While the average sat at 2%, majority of the country, they sat at a minimum of 2%. The majority of the country saw a 4% increase. So what that essentially means is, for a median price home in the United States, you're looking at about a $14,000 increase of equity over the course of what happened last year and then moving into this year. So why is this important when we're thinking about what are we going to list our home price or our home for, right? How do we list our home at the best price? Hey, Kenny Green, welcome to the live. So here's why it gets important, and here's how it gets important. If you have a home that you are thinking to sell this year, by the way, we're in season, right? So now's the time. Get that thing on the market in the next 4 to 6 weeks at the latest. Get on the market to maximize your return. But here's what you don't want to do. You absolutely do not want to be the person that overpriced your house, right? Do not list your home for more than that 4% increase, right? And here's the reason why you don't want to do that, because what ends up happening is you end up saying, well, the projections are over the course of 2019, we're going to see a 4% increase in values. I'm going to list my house for 10% more than its actual market value. And what's going to happen there, guys, you're going to be the person that has this $500,000 house. You're going to list it for $550,000, or even some folks go for like $575,000. When you do that, you end up putting yourself in a situation where, guess what? Your home sits. When your home sits on the market, it doesn't do anything to help you. Some people say, well, I'm looking for the best buyer. I know. But what we want to remember is it's pricing and marketing. As long as your agent is marketing your home properly, then the pricing takes over as our primary concern. And if you overprice your house, guys, really important, it sits. Now, how do you combat that? How do you deal with the fact that my house is overpriced? It's been on the market for 6 weeks, for 8 weeks, for 5 months, for 6 months, for a year, and I really want to sell it. How do you fight that? Well, what most people do is this. Phil, I know I should have listed. Someone just called me again. Sorry about that. I had to stop the call. So you say, Phil, I should have listed my house at $500,000. I listed it at $575,000. What do I do? Well, here's your answer. Most of the time, people are going to say, let's reduce at $5,000, $10,000 increments. That's what most folks are going to say. And the problem with that idea is that when you do that, all the experts will tell you, it just creates this thought in your buyer's head that says, well, something's wrong with that house. It creates this idea to a buyer that is, if they're reducing the price every 2, 3, 4 weeks by $10,000, something must be wrong and they can't sell their home. You don't want to be that person, because what ends up happening is you sell for less than what you would have gotten. I'm very popular. I'm very, very popular. People keep calling me. And listen, I don't blame them. I'm super, super popular. But anyway, diving back in here, what you end up getting is less for your house than you would have gotten had you just listed it at the market value, or maybe a tweak over the market value to estimate that equity bump that you're going to have, that 4% this month, or this year. So what my suggestion to you guys is this: if you overprice your home, it's too late, guys. So what do? You make a dramatic price increase. You show the market that you've established that you're overpriced, and you're making a price reduction to account for that big inflation on value that you anticipated, that you decided you were going to list the house for. So instead of taking $575,000 to $565,000, take $575,000 to $535,000 or $545,000. Now, you might be saying, Phil, I know, man, it makes sense, but goodness gracious, that's a big reduction in value. It's not. And that's the part that most sellers get confused about. This isn't a reduction in value. This is a course correction. The value was never there. See, market determines value. People don't, right? Us, people, the owners of the homes, we don't determine the value of our home. We do everything we can to project a high value to the market. So when we look at the comparable homes and we look at things that are on the market right now, and then we decide, well, this is market value, ultimately, that's the best way to get there initially, but we have to understand that the market in itself, the people that are out there, that are coming out and looking at our homes, they're determining what they're going to pay, and therefore they're determining true market value for your home at any given time. So a couple quick tips and we're going to wrap up. Make sure you list your house at the right time, right? So depending on where you are, we all know across the country that the best time is the first week of April. The very first week of April is the best time. Most of the time, we talked about this before, sellers will see a 14% increase in home sale prices when they list in the first week of April. Also, from there, you want to get with your local realtor and say, listen, hyper specific to our market, when is the best time to get the most money for my house in the shortest amount of time? So get with your market expert and make sure that you identify that. Then make sure that you don't price too high. Don't price too high, because if you don't price too high, you take into account that 4% expected equity bump that you're going to see this year, then you'll stay where people are still going to put in offers for your home. And then make sure that if you're that person that's already on the market and you're overpriced right now, you make a significant drop in your pricing so that you can garner offers. The last thing I'm going to tell you is this. Remember why you set a list price. There sometimes is a misconception that we're setting a list price because that's where we're going to sell. And depending on the pricing strategy you use, that might become reality. But the truth is, for most pricing strategies, for a compelling pricing strategy, guess what? When you list your home in a compelling pricing strategy with a compelling price point, then what ends up happening is you're listing your home to get offers, not at a sale price. If you want to list your home at a number that is going to get you that exact number, make sure your number is hyper compelling. Make sure the number works for you and it makes sense for the market. That's it, guys. This is all about how to list your home, what to list your home for, how to get the right price on it out there to the market so that you get multiple offers and you get the most money possible. Remember, when you overprice your home, you sit on the market and you never sell. If that's you, make a large course correction, reduce the price down substantially to drive traffic to your home, and then make sure that you speak, talk, and negotiate heavily with the offers that you receive. And then number two, remember that if you're going to market, get with an expert that knows your market, get with an expert that can help you build your market, and get with somebody who can take your house from this is market value to sold. Guys, that's where you're going. That's what you're doing. I've got a super busy office here, so I'm going to jump off. If you have any questions, make sure you ask. Comment below. Share this video. Make sure it gets out there to anybody and everybody that you think is even considering the idea of selling their home. I love you guys. See y'all later on the next one. Next Friday, 12 p.m. This is Facebook Live Friday. See ya. Thank you very much.